Hello, everyone, and welcome to the DrMC, where we are going to have day 2 of our September Speed Gold bracket. But first, let me introduce my co-commentator, Ook the Librarian. Ook, how you doing?
Hey, Savage, doing all right about yourself?
Feeling awesome. I wanted to chat with you about our biggest event of the year before we get started with Speed.
Yes, indeed. I think I know what's coming.
Oh, yeah? Do you?
I believe so. I think you're talking about the Door Gaming Expo. At least you better
I
be, because
am.
that's what you put in our Steam chat channel.
I did, exactly. We are so excited to be here. There is a confirmed player list on our Discord, and Ook, you're going to be there, right?
Oh yeah, definitely going to be there. Can't wait to do my first DRMC finals.
Yeah, it's going to be so exciting, and they have a lot of great stuff. They're going to have a video game tattoo artist. There's going to be an after party with like a live Mario Party game and a rock band battle of the bands. So it should be really fun. We hope that as many people come out as possible.
Yes, indeed. And yeah, if the regional was anything, the Louisville regional was anything to go off of, I know we're about to have ourselves a blast. I've watched it from the sidelines the last 2 years. Cannot wait to go.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. So please hop in our Discord and join us. But now it is on to the other side of our community, the speed side. So last night we had 5 whole matches and they had some things in common.
Yep.
We,
Nobody brought a
yeah,
broom
nobody brought the reverse broom, I guess, or the
or
the
any kind of.
cider.
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah,
just brooms. That's right.
just brooms, just brooms.
That's right. Yeah, I get no cider, all brooms. Yeah, it was like it was very much like watching a lot of curling. Just
Yep.
brooms everywhere. So yeah, 5 great matches last night. We're looking forward to 3 more really good first round matches, as well as all of our second round today. And we're going to start that off with Riggs and Frank and Sav. This is going to be a good one.
I'm really excited. Frank is back after being away for a little while. He usually takes the daylight savings season off because of the time difference to Japan. But he is back. We're really excited to have him. And of course, he is just a many time champion. And Riggs is a really exciting up and coming player who has gotten sub 6 in round 1 in this tournament. So excited to see him.
Yeah, and we were discussing kind of what his odds were, considering, just the quality of play that Frank always puts on. What Riggs's kind of odds were, and yeah, you look at Riggs's best time, you look at Frank's average, and the possibility is there. And Riggs hasn't hit his ceiling yet, so it's really going to be interesting to see what transpires here.
Exactly. I think we could see some pretty cool play from both players. So let's see, we're going to need some readies from Riggs and from Frank. As soon as we have that, we'll be off and ready to go. Levels 6 through 9.
Yes, indeed, and we do have that ready from Frank. This is going to be a best of 3 match, just like the ones we saw last night. If you're watching us on YouTube, hey, thanks for watching. But everybody who's watching us right now, you're watching us on Twitch, so thanks for watching there. Be sure you give us a follow.
Exactly. And we are really, really close to 1,000 subs on YouTube. So,
Woohoo!
hey, hit that subscribe button. And we have readies from both players.
All right, and with that, we're gonna get R3, R2, R1, and pills.
Woo! All right, both players playing on medium. Nice even top line there for Riggs. A lot of blue in double formations. A lot of red there for Frank.
Yeah, with Riggs, I like the access that he had to start off with of kind of every color, every combination available. It is slowly kind of becoming not that, but so far the doctor hasn't given him anything that he can't use, and he's using it to good effect. Holding on to just a couple of viruses lead as far as what we're seeing on the board against Frank, our 5-time champion. I have to look at my notes.
Yeah, and Frank's
Like
been
at
making a
8.
lot of really good tuck plays, just making sure that everything is as tight as possible. Notice that tuck play that he just had in columns 3 and 4. And everything's coming up so far. I think red is going to be a little bit troubling for him. It could be if he doesn't get it going. But wow, look at those red blues he's getting. Exactly the thing. So,
Yes. Yes, indeed. But, oops, all red situations don't always work out. Looks like this one is starting to. Riggs, meanwhile, just needs two more, or now he needs two more yellows. And bit of a misdrop there by Frank, but he was able to underclear as Riggs is out at a 122. Frank is going to be out at a 123. So, very close game here to start.
yeah, looking excellent. It looks like Riggs is trying to set up a horizontal with those reds on the top. Notice he's got all that blue yellow garbage set up, and he just keeps getting blue yellows, so he's dropping it down like that, which is fine, causes a little bit of drop time, but it does keep the board moving forward and reduce the garbage. So it looks like he's got another horizontal opportunity there with those blues.
Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of room for yellow. Meanwhile, on Frank's board, it's pretty much all red on
Hmm.
this top line. That is not a kind board for Frank, who is an 8-time champion. I did have to look that up. But yeah, it's if he doesn't get a lot of reds, it's going to give Riggs a real opportunity to continue to hold on to this slim lead that he's built.
Yeah, but take a look at Riggs's board. A lot of red there as well. And it's all really tied up in that right hand side. So you see him figuring out where to make those tucks. He didn't want to underclear that red under the yellow because it was going to drop down some things. So he is making those plans to unblock column 5. I can count.
Yes, indeed. So on Frank's side, we just saw a massive combo from him. He did get a mini red blitz, and that was everything that he needed. I mean, honestly, he could have used a couple more red pills, but he is down to just some red and blue viruses. He's unwilling to take that drop time. Can't say that I blame him, as Riggs out at a 301. Frank is going to be out at a 304. So again, Riggs holding the slimmest of leads over Frank.
Hmm. And yeah, he had a really tidy end game, setting up for a horizontal that would drop and make sure everything was clear. But if you take a look at Riggs's opening board, look at how much yellow is there. The diversity alone on Frank's board gives him the advantage. Although he's able to clear out that column 1, was a little worried at how high it was, but things are looking good for Frank.
Yeah, Riggs, like you said, has been kind of sitting on quite a bit. He was hoping to have some horizontals going on with the yellows, but didn't really have much of an opportunity to put that together. He's now got this floating pair that if he gets a double yellow is going to be perfect. Otherwise, it's going to mean a little bit of work. But yeah, it's definitely taking him a little bit of time as he is going to be slipping a bit behind Frank here, who is getting a lot of what he needs.
Hmm. Yeah, and able to get it with very little drop time. He has to take some in column 7, but it's not too big of a deal. Now, column 1 is going to be probably a source of the biggest drop time for Frank unless he builds that platform up. But Riggs down to 3 viruses. It's just going to be about how those reds show up. This is very nice. This red yellow advantageous for him. And there we go. But Frank takes the lead now to 430. Riggs at a 435.
Yeah, this could be anybody's game. It depends on what kind of levels these two players get. And Riggs right off the bat gets something that he really can't use, and that's not a good sign for him. Uh, Really, Frank's level 8 was what gave him a bit of an advantage, but uh, at this point, Riggs is going to need to take that again and find his way through this board quickly, or else it's going to be Frank 1-0.
Hmm. And you did see Frank, though, dealing with some blue that he didn't want in the center of the board. He finally just decided to clear that because the horizontal that could have brought that down was just not really going to happen because it was the color that's going to be a pain point for Frank, which is yellow. Take a look at all that yellow in the center of the board. Some good horizontals possible, but it could take a while to get them going. So this is an opportunity for Riggs to get back in it.
Yes, indeed, and it's only about a 3 virus count difference as we're looking at it. There's a little bit of a timer difference as well. So, that is working a bit in Frank's advantage. But now he has really opened up a big lead here, looking at about 7 or 8 virus difference, and that's going to be big for him.
Yeah, Riggs's combo game is good, but if you take a look at how much blue is on the board, it's not a good sign, especially because, as we know, we mentioned this last night, blue is the least common color that shows up in the game. So he's going to have to make sure that any blue that shows up is used in the most efficient way, but it's not enough. Frank out at a 6-13.
Yeah, it was a really smart set of in-game play for Frank. It just everything was coming up perfectly, and he was using all of his pills to their maximum advantage. But yeah, in addition to that, it was just a really set of rotten luck for Riggs as he's just sitting on so much blue.
Yeah, and he's still trying to clear it out. Luckily, he is getting it, but it's too little too late. And of course, now he's just getting a little more extra punished with all the red yellow. It's going to keep coming for a little bit, I think, in the sequence. And yeah, 655.
Yep, so still a sub 7. That was great, but yeah, that little bit of pill bad luck, that's all it takes when you've got an opponent like Frank.
hmm We do already have a ready from Riggs. Just need a ready from Frank. And of course, we're playing best of 3, so Frank needs one more to move on to the next round, and Riggs needs to take over that reverse sweep. Could we have the first decider?
Oh,
We'll see in a
definitely.
second.
All right, and that 3-2-1 pill shows up in chat. All right. So look at this quad opportunity for Riggs. He's
Mm,
taking it. I can't blame
wow.
him for that. Meanwhile, on Frank's board, he is making some deep level setups.
hmm
You can see that he's got the opportunity to take out some blues horizontally, and he's making no ifs, ands, or buts. That is exactly what he's going to be doing with them.
Yeah, that's a definite Frank signal for that. Now he is going to have to build that platform, and look at that. Sticking that red yellow in columns 2 and 3 means it's exactly the way it's going to go. And he cascades that yellow down and makes sure that red yellow in columns 1 and 2 is perfectly set up. This is excellent, but Riggs has a little bit of a lead.
Yeah, that was actually a mini double blue blitz for Frank. Not a full big one, but we did get the red blue signaling the end of it. So that was a very rare combination. And it came at a time when he really needed it. But yeah, definitely a solid play from Riggs is keeping him very solidly in this game. But Frank now is going to get this double blue, and that is going to put him out at a 112. That is a smoking hot time.
hmm Now, Riggs is column 4. Unfortunately, he blocked column 3, so he could have had that yellow out a little bit ago. So he could be out right now at this 125, but needs one more yellow to get the job done. And of course, he's just getting red blue. Oh, this is painful, but he's got it. He's out at a 135, but Frank already with an excellent combo down the left-hand side of the board.
Yeah, it's terrible when the doctor punishes you for making the wrong 50-50 decision, but
hmm
yeah, Riggs having to pay for his sins with the doctor.
Ooh,
Uh,
excellent swim from Frank there. Just look at him tuck all the way over in the bottom. That's one of the things you can do on medium speed. Very impressive from Frank.
guess we should call that paying your doctor bills. Anyway, yeah, it's a lot of good that Frank is putting together, but he is having a little bit of a trouble with what he's looking at down the middle of his board. All that red again is blocking up everything else, and when the red does that, you can guarantee that's one color you're not going to be seeing that much of until way too late.
hmm Riggs working on a bunch of red himself. Yep, dropping this red and getting a mini red blitz enables him to take out the center of that board without too much drop time. So let's keep that red coming for Riggs. And speaking of red, Frank needs one more. He's out at a 249.
Yeah, so Riggs already passed that, but if he's one more red away, he just needs to make sure he gets a good tuck here. He has lost the parking garage. He's out at a 302, so Luckily, didn't run into the problem that happens when you don't have that garage set up.
Looks like Frank is signaling that he is thinking about those blues horizontally in the center of the board. We'll see how that changes.
Yeah, that board for Frank, it's very complicated. This is the
Hmm.
sort of setup that he likes to have. Meanwhile, Riggs needed that blue yellow about 3 pills ago and is having to deal with a little bit of garbage as he is sitting on a lot of red on his top line as well.
Yeah, definitely. So you seem making a combo there. When this happens, often you're just going to have to stick a color that you don't exactly want onto your board. And it's sort of just like a garbage combo it's going to save space for later. But these red blues, if they continue, that'll be a really good thing for Riggs.
Yeah, and Frank is hoping for horizontals pretty much all around. Um, he's going to
He's
get that one. Okay, there's the vertical to go with it. And now he is just 2 viruses away. There's one, there's two out of the 420. So smoking hot time yet again for Frank in a completely different way. And Riggs is not going to be too far behind, though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, these viruses are all positioned very, very well. He does need a bunch of blue, and I think that was the same story as the last game, unfortunately. And I really hope he doesn't get too much red yellow. But there he goes. He has a bunch of garbage columns open to use. And we always want to use the center for that. And medium players can do it without too much trouble. But yeah, it's really good that he's getting that blue working now. Don't want to top out.
Ooh, yeah. 5 minutes flat. That's going to put him behind, but it could have been so much worse based on what he had left. So, man, that's a
Oh,
great combo from Frank as well.
drop T, outstanding, and followed by an amazing swim there. Swim being sliding horizontally and then at the last second being able to stand it up vertically. Just really outstanding.
Yes, indeed. As Okay, Riggs is going to have himself a nice little combo
All
here. There's
right,
one,
look at
two,
that.
three, four, 5 viruses, just like it's nothing. And then, oh, I missaw that as a double. So I thought he was about to get another big combo, but he's hoping for a double red. He'd love to see a double red blitz, honestly, so that he can knock out a lot of stuff very quickly. But Frank, just zooming on all cylinders here, is looking to be able to take this one. It's going to be a really, really bad thing for him if he doesn't. Just needs some yellow, and he will be out of this one and on to our second round.
And you see him setting up those platforms so the yellow drop time doesn't show up. Here we go. He gets that yellow. Everything free and clear for him. But of course, he's getting red, blue all the way. Needs one more yellow. He gets it. He's out at a 624. And Riggs just 8 viruses behind. Considering some of the stuff that he had to deal with, excellent showing from Riggs. And as JB Henry says, he really has had to run a gauntlet of top players.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Riggs managed in his first season to never make a silver bracket. He has always made the main bracket, and because he's ended up, I think 12 is about as high a seed as he's had. That has really meant a lot of top players that he's come up against. So, GG's to both of our players, and yeah, it's been a good match.
hmm And Frank is going to move on to face the winner of our next match. Number 4 seed Watchmuh versus our number 13 seed JonDatFlindo. You are not going to want to miss this one. I think it's going to be one of the tightest ones we're going to see today. So stick around. This is the DrMC. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dr. Mario Championship. I'm Savage Octagon, and I'm joined for this next match in the booth by our number 16 seed Larva 12. Larva, welcome in.
Hi, Savage. How are you doing today?
Oh, I am great. I'm really stoked for this match. Watchma and JonDatFlindo, they haven't met many times. Watchma took their only meeting in November of 22, but these two are outstanding, and I think we're going to see a really good one. What do you think?
I'm very excited. This is one of our matches where we have two people from our immunity pool in at the Torg Gaming Expo, facing each other. Watchmuh took home the Bluegrass Regional Championship in Louisville, Kentucky, and JonDatFlindo was our runner-up in Waco, in Texas. So not only are both of these players very good speed players, they're also very excellent versus players as well.
Yeah, JonDatFlindo especially coming up in the ranks, practicing very, very hard. At the end of every monthly, he says, okay, great. Now I get to go back to practicing verses. So he's all ready to go. Speaking of readies, we have our 3, 2, 1, and pills. Look at this U-shaped red business at the top of Flindo's board.
Yeah,
Not a big fan. Not a big
no,
fan.
I don't like it. I don't like it either. The only time I would like it was if he started off with a double red blitz, and he didn't.
But he manages to clear it out anyway. Watchmuh has 24 viruses. John is a little bit ahead of him, but I'm not sure I love the shapes. Notice column 8 just has a little bit floating, and then down at the bottom, he needs a bunch of red to clear this out. Nice horizontal, though.
Yeah, I like that horizontal from Watchmuh. But I agree, I'm not a huge fan of all of those reds. It's, same story that Flindo had earlier, just slightly later in the level for Watchmuh.
Yeah, but Flindo's got a little bit slow going here. Nice work with that horizontal. Looks like he's also going to go for this horizontal combo at the bottom of the board on that red. But the red in columns 6 and 7 was a little bit of a problem, and he's still got it buried under a little bit of garbage. It's not going to help that combo to go. But Watchman is still buried under all this red, signaling that horizontal.
Yeah, now Flindo only has one left. He just has that blue. And then Watchmuh has one red left. He's going to be out of 134, and Flindo's going to be out maybe a couple seconds later.
137.
So this is very, very close right now going into level 7.
Yeah, and Flindo had to open that board with, I think, a red blue or yellow blue that he did not need at the beginning, but he had a smart play. Again, as I mentioned with Riggs and Frank's game, you're going to want to just throw that away, use it to make a combo on that other color. But John, with the smallest of leads right now over Watchmuh, just 2 viruses, and he's got a bunch of holes in his board, and he's probably going to have to take some drop time.
Yeah, especially in that column, I believe it's column 4. He's taking the drop time now to bring it all down, but it does take a couple seconds for that to reach the bottom where it needs to go.
And a nice horizontal there at the bottom. So you can see that Flindo is really thinking about the different layers. So is Watchmuh. You see this horizontal coming down for him. Notice he has this red horizontal possibility there in the center of the board, and when that drops down, he's going to be working on his red yellow in columns 7 and 8. There he goes. He drops it, gets a nice combo with the blue. Now the red in column 8 is in a little bit of trouble, but there we go. He cleans it up.
And Flindo's going to be out at a 303. And Watchmuh only needs a couple more pills and he'll do it. It'll be out at a 307. Again, still very, very close.
Flindo working on a bunch of blue at the top of this level. He is working on a platform there for a horizontal. Notice if he's able to get one more blue, that situation is going to resolve itself, but he's still holding on to it. I think he'd like a double blue maybe, but come on, let go, Flindo. There we go. Giant combo.
I'm sitting here trying to figure out if I had that board yesterday, because I might have had that board yesterday somewhere.
I know, you start to play so often and you have that.
Yeah, but Flindo's board looks extremely familiar, and especially the way he started it. So it, and I know we all have those times where we're like, wait, I think I've played that one. So both players actually have a lot of red on their top line, but both are getting pretty favorable RNG. I think in order to get those Flindos down to 3.
Yeah, and the way that he kept the bottom of his top line very low just made things all the more quick for him. So he's going to be out with one more red, and notice Watchmuh is going to have to take that drop time down the center of the board. He is planning for a horizontal with those yellows at the bottom, but it's going to be slow going, especially with all the red. And Lindo already out, making good work of this level 9.
Yeah, I really like how Flindo started his level. He could see his next box, see what was coming, and could make a very nice drop combo with what he had, so that he didn't have to wait later for any kind of double red or anything like that. He could just use what was already known to him to um, set up some really good combos and things so he didn't have to wait later on.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Now, Watchma at the beginning of his board had some blue yellows that he didn't know what to do with, and he's sort of building up a platform for horizontals. He got it done, but now there's a little bit of garbage there. He's only back 10 viruses. Nice horizontal for Watchma, but John's got a lot of combos, rather, excuse me, set up, and he needs basically one of everything. So he's got options.
Yeah, it's Watchman does have this very complicated setup. I like that he's starting to fire it off. I do think that it was meant to be fired off in a couple of different times. Um, but they have all seemed really red dependent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, beautiful combo there. Finally setting off from Watchma. He's about 7 viruses back, but Flindo's board is extremely clean. Now, of course, it is all blue and red. So, but he does have horizontal, vertical options, and as long as he keeps column 7 tidy, he'll have this going pretty quickly. So he's down to 5, Watchman down to 11, but notice that row 1 entirely filled with viruses. Horizontal is the best way to go with that, but it's going to be challenging because they're all the same color.
Yeah, you had mentioned that Flindo had all blues and reds, and I looked at Watchman's board, and he also had all blues and reds with about 12 viruses left.
Mm-hmm.
So Flindo's out at a 650. Um, Watchman has he has passed that, but is again not too far away from finishing.
And there we go. He's going to get his last red. He's out at a 712. And as JB says in the chat, it is right on the average time for Flindo. If you want to check out all of these stats, you can go to our website, monthly.drmc.gg. Lovingly curated by Floyd1977 and DM Hero. So much good information there. And we got a ready from both players. Are we going to see our first decider of the tournament? Let's see. In 3, 2, 1, and pills.
I'm looking at Flindo's board right now. I didn't quite like the beginning of the pills that he was given, but I do think that he's played them very well. I really like that combo, even though there is some garbage. But I do think that he's played that very, very well with what he's been given. Now, Watchmuh, all of his yellows are really kind of buried, so we're really just hoping that the doctor does not give him a whole bunch of things that he can't use. But it's the
Yeah.
doctor. He's gonna do that.
Yeah, so he doesn't need yellow right now, and it's not going to be too much of a chore to tackle all of it when he does get it. But both of these players just had these very high spiky boards that looked like they were sort of a nightmare for drop time. But things going really well. Flinto's got some good combos of different colors going. Now, taking out those yellows in column 2 meant that that blue is up very high, but it looks like that's going to be the last thing that he takes care of. He's going to squeeze in between with these reds, and he just needs one more blue and he'll be out. Meanwhile, Watchmuh working on a nice horizontal and then a vertical. He's going to be out at 131. Very close again.
Yeah, and I think that Watchman near the end of his board, he had some choices to make, some 50-50s, and I don't think that they entirely went his way with what he got later on, but still very good time, still very much in the match.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because Flindo, you could see him kind of vacillating and thinking about whether he wanted to try to go for this blue horizontal, and things showed up sort of the moment he prioritized differently, but things are looking really good here for Flindo. Now, Watchmuh ahead a little bit in virus count, but if you look at all of that red, I would say that actually red for both of them. So I'm not sure who has the advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Flindo's got to get a lot of red to keep this moving.
Yeah, there's a lot of red. There's the blue that was in column 2. He's just gotten rid of that. But if he doesn't get a lot of red, then there's not much he can do. Watchman's going to be out at a 245 into his level 8.
Mm-hmm. And Flindo's still working on that red. He is going to have to take some drop time. You see him a little bit worried about that. He had to take a combo of drop time down the center of the board. He's out at a 302, and Watchmuh's about 5 viruses ahead with great combo setups all around.
There's not a lot of red on Flindo's top line until like just a layer down. So not the greatest top line to start, but not all that bad once he got past that first layer.
Mm-hmm. And he had a nice combo there, but Watchmuh pulling away. He's got a 10 virus lead. Columns 7 and 8 are going to be the big deal for him because you hate to see those firstly up high, secondly with the same color on them, so that's going to be a little bit tough. I wonder if he is going to try to go for those blues horizontally at the bottom, and notice he is trying to build up to those columns 7 and 8. Flindo got a similar story in columns 1 and 2, but he's locked up with red, yellow, so that's going to be difficult for him.
Yeah, and there's some blue garbage next to a blue pill for him, so that does make it a little bit harder to use what you need while not generating even more garbage. Watchman's going to be out at a 419.
Mm-hmm. And he's
I'm
got
trying to
almost
figure out. I'm trying to figure out how I feel about this board. I don't quite know.
I don't know. I think it looks great. Got some good staircase opportunities. If he brings down this blue in column 7, it's going to do some good things for him. But meanwhile, Flindo just having trouble with the end game here, trying to set up horizontal and vertical. I think he'd really like to clear out those reds horizontally. I'm not sure if that's the play because of that blue that's there. So we'll have to see how things go. The blue blocking the opportunity for him to clear out column 1 in one fell swoop. So yeah, you see he is frustrated there. While Watchmuh cruising through and hitting the mid game of his level 9.
I do like Flindo's top line on this level 9. Very it has a very it was very flat to start out with, so not a lot of drop time. He could work his way down through that kind of cavern in the middle of his board, so it wasn't that bad. And a lot of diversity in the pills and viruses that have shown up so far.
Mm-hmm. But Watchmuh with a 15 virus lead. Things looking outstanding for him. This blue-yellow, exactly what he needs. We'd love to see him get a blue-red to really open up the rest of that board. Nice horizontal there for Flindo. He needs to get those reds off of the board, and then things will be kind of split, but it looks like he's got some good stuff going on with the levels. at the bottom, but Watchmuh needs one more red and he's out at a 618. This is our first decider of the tournament.
Hooray!
Yay!
More free Dr. Mario.
I love it. Now, I hope the rest of you are planning to join us next week as we have our silver bracket. It is going to be our biggest silver yet. And Flindo is done. He says, wow, that 8. Yes, of course. That was pretty rough. All right. We are looking for readies from both players to finish out this decider. All right, both players look like they are set on the menu screen. I like how both of these players have like cartoons and movement on their screen besides cameras. It's really nice. So readies from both players. And 3, 2, 1. Decider pills. Oof. A lot of blue on this top line for Flindo and a very, very odd shape here for Watchmuh. Take a look at how left heavy this board is and the gaps in it. Yeah, just pretty odd here.
Yeah, and on the left side, there's not a lot of yellow until you get down to the bottom. But Watchmuh's column 8's entirely empty. Very nice cross clear there from Watchmuh.
He is starting to break through that barrier to the yellow at the bottom. Now, Flindo building extremely evenly, so much so that, he is actually pretty locked up in terms of what moves he can make. And he's going to be looking for, that horizontal into that vertical drop. Very nice combo there from Flindo. Only one blue left on that board.
Meanwhile, Watchmuh's been getting a lot of blue-yellow that he tucked away. That was a great combo. Was that an H? Sometimes we get
Yeah,
H's.
that was pretty funky. I really like that. And so with that, Watchmuh and Flindo basically tied here. Now Flindo's going to be building horizontally to get that and just needs one more yellow. And now Watchmuh just needs one more yellow, but Flindo out at about a 130. Same with Watchmuh.
And looking at Flindo's board, I think he has kind of the opposite effect that, excuse me, that Watchmuh had on his first board, where there's not a lot in his first couple of columns, and then everything is stacked more toward the right. This is the round where you see these things happen because there's not as many viruses that are on the board, so they can be spread out a little bit more. So boards like this you're really not going to see in like the quarterfinal or the semifinals and the finals, anything like that. So it is kind of nice to see how players deal with those types of things as they go on. It is 12 viruses for Watchmuh to 8 for Flindo.
An extremely frustrating RNG for Watchmuh here. Notice that column 1 entirely stacked with blue reds. That's exactly what he didn't need. So very tough. He wants some more yellow to clear out this garbage. And there we go. He drops it down. He's got some possibilities for good stuff here. Flindo just needs a couple more blues. So let's hope that he doesn't have the same situation that he had before. He's not going to. He's out at a 3-12.
The end of this setup for Watchmuh. Oh, that's very nice. That double red's very nice. If he didn't get that, he could have used a blue to get rid of the garbage in the next column, and then try to take everything out that way. So he did have multiple options there.
Mm-hmm. A nice slide there from Flindo, trying to figure out if he gets yellow, where is he going to put it? Some of it's open a little bit, but you see there's still a lot of red-blue on that top line. Luckily, those yellows in column 4 are open for him, and he's taking his time, making sure he can get all of that at the same time because, yes, a blue-yellow is exactly what he needs in columns 2 and 3, and forcing a blue at a different time would have caused more drop time later. So he's about a 7 virus lead on Watchmuh right now, but notice his columns 1 and 8 are going to be a little bit difficult, but there we go. He clears out that 7 and 8.
Very, very well played. Watchmuh now basically, now he doesn't have any yellow on his board at all, and only has 1 blue as of right now, so he is really, really in need of red.
Definitely. And Flindo in need of blue. He's yelling at the game right now. He's out at a 446. Now I noticed that Flindo is a pretty dedicated screen looker. He is looking over there as much as he can. And I don't know, Larva, are you a screen looker? It's really hard for me
No.
to notice. Yeah.
I
And Watchmuh
don't
out at a
really
502.
I don't really watch. It's not my thing, and I also don't listen to commentary. So I know Bidwell was asking me to put something in the chat yesterday. I had already, turned off anything for stream. So I'm
All
sorry
right.
that I couldn't put that there, Bidwell.
Sorry. A beautiful combo from Watchmuh there. He is working to clear this out as quickly as he possibly can, getting a bunch of reds, which he really doesn't need. Looks like he's setting up for that horizontal, gets it. Other horizontal opportunities will happen. He's still 10 viruses back, so he needs to get exactly the right pills to keep this moving.
Yes, but there are the double opportunities, everything like that, that he can take advantage of. So I do think if anybody can do it, it's Watchmuh. He can sniff those out. As long as he can get some of the red help that he needs, it can be tight.
And he's going to rely on the fact that Flindo has a little bit of trouble there in his column 5. Luckily, it's clearing out, but that red is going to be a little bit blocked up. He's going to have to clear around it. And there we go. He's getting there. He's going to need 1 more yellow, and he'll be out. Flindo with a 633 going to take this match and move on to face Frank. This is our first decider and our first upset of this month's tournament.
GG's to both of our players. And Flindo, we will see you later tonight in round 2.
Very, very exciting. Now, in a couple of minutes, as Watchmuh finishes out, there we go, just needs his reds, get the red blitz. He's out at a 703. We're going to have our number 3 Atalito versus our number 14 Betty B. We love both of these players. I think this is going to be a great match. And if you know your Dr. Mario history, the 3-14 matchup can often be pretty wild. So stick around. We'll be back in a couple minutes. This is the DrMC.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Dr. Mario Championship. My name is JB Henry. I'll be joined with Larva here in the booth. And we've got the pie matchup, the 3 versus the 14, Betty B versus Atalito. Atalito has just been one of the strongest players we've seen in a long time. And Betty is prone to upset the top players, Larva. This is going to be a fun one to watch.
I'm very excited. We have somebody who it's the middle of the night, and someone it's basically the middle of the afternoon.
And both these players very, very good. Atalito is currently on a 24-match win streak. Will Betty be the one to snap it? According to our resident statistician, Oop the Librarian, Atalito has the longest match winning streak in Dr. Mario history. Frank with 21, Influx 19, Dimwit 18, Frank 17. And again, we've seen Betty pull off some big upsets. She took down Savage Octagon in the DrMC Live World Championship back in 2022. Also, the Silver 2022 champion. So she is absolutely no slouch at this game.
Exactly. We're going to see from both players, we're going to see a lot of combos, a lot of big brain plays. So, I just buckle your seatbelts, everybody.
Savage is upset that saying taking her out in versus is not an upset. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and Bills. Off we go here as we kick things off here. 3 versus 14. And it is a tale of two different boards here as we get started. Not a lot of access to yellow for Atalito. He's going to have to get creative. Betty's got a big split down the middle of her board that gives her a lot of access. There's a big double down in column 6. She could get that double yellow, and we're seeing some really quick tuck plays from Betty.
And we're also seeing some really quick tuck plays from Atalito on his side. Oh, brilliant drop horizontal. I didn't even see that. I thought he misdropped for a second.
And
he did not misdrop.
And a chunky bolt from Betty, however. Now she's kind of split her board. Columns 4 and 5 wide open. You rarely see that this early in a run, but we're seeing it here. Betty had that double yellow. Could have tucked it down in row 4. Could have gotten a sweet tea. Possibly didn't see that. And she's just got red all over that top line, Larva. This is a tough board to start.
Yeah, and you can see her shaking her head. She didn't like some of what came up for her, but she has recovered pretty nicely. There's just everything for her is just clumped up into a couple of columns.
That left side especially. Looking over at Atalito's board, he is already into level 7. We're less than 90 seconds into this, so we got to go back and see how quick that 6 was. That might have been sub-minute 15, but he is off to the races here, clearing out the high elevation viruses with some double pills, and now down to 22 as Betty looking to set up to get out of level 6. Getting that under clear on the blue, so it's just going to be Red City, and if Betty's smart here, she's going to go for the higher elevation red first. No, making a misplay, that could be critical. A double red would bail her out. She's still going to get out at a minute 54. Rough start for Betty, but still plenty of match left.
Yeah, and Atalito, you can tell he's setting up this fat log on the bottom. And he's just working on everything in columns 1, 2, and 3. He only needs a few more blues and a couple of yellows, and he'll be out.
That blue-yellow huge, and getting another blue-yellow to combo it out at a 227. That's a blazing fast time. Atalito has just been putting on a clinic so far here in this final first-round match.
Mm-hmm. Betty really wants to take that red up near the top of her board. She wants to take it out horizontally, and she's got the setup. She just needs to build up or some other form of getting a platform up there to get that. There she goes.
Beautiful drop combo there by Betty, keeping her hopes alive here as she's down to 9 viruses. Atalito struggling a little bit. Not a lot of blue to be accessed and is blocked by red and yellow on the left side. And he's really just trying to figure out how to get things through. Does a nice drop cross. He's going to get that left side opened up. Really still not paying any mind to columns 1 and 2. Looks like he's maybe dealing with that last here, Larva.
I think so, and I think he wants to build. Yeah, that's exactly what he wants to do. He wants to build up to some of those horizontals that he can use. So Atalito's very much a, well, if I can wait and take it out later, I'm going to wait and take it out later kind of person.
Absolutely. Betty out at a 344 into level 8. It's a lot of blue for Atalito to deal with, and he's still stuck with these reds blocking that final blue. I think the strat is going to be to go horizontally. That double blue, very fortuitous. Ooh, and that's a potential misplay by Atalito. He's going to have to work around that. He's going to have to clear that yellow horizontally. Gets a fortunate double yellow, and he is out at a 408 going into 9.
Yeah, and sometimes you can't tell with Atalito if it is a misdrop or not. That one I can guarantee that was a misdrop.
A very rare mistake by one of our best players, but that might be the opportunity Betty needs. She is still rocking through level 8. I like this combo, setting up for another combo on that right side. She does have a little bit of garbage. She clears it out, gets herself in a good position here, though she needs a double red. That would be huge for her, or she could combo down. And it looks like that's what she's going to do here, Larva. I really like this decision.
Yeah, I do too. And that's the Betty that we all know and love, is seeing the combos, seeing everything all the way down the board.
You
In
definitely,
a way that not everybody else does.
yeah, you definitely need that vision when it comes to speed competitive play. You got to know what the next play is. We see Atalito here. He looks like he's setting up here. Got a horizontal setup if he wants it. He's just going to need to clear this red out. And you see Atalito playing with very fast speed. He's dashing, and that means he's just holding the direction he wants those pills to go before they enter the board. Betty out at a 524 does prevent herself from getting lapped, but Atalito staring at the final 2 viruses, and he'll get that double blue out at a 533, just 1 second off of his PB. He'll take game number 1. A rough start for Betty, but still plenty of game left here, and it's good to get the shakes out of the way on that first game. Reboot yourself and get yourself ready for game number 2. Levels 6 to 9 here, our final first round matchup. The winner of this matchup will go on to face Dawn Venier in the second round, the 6th seed, and that'll be a fun one to watch.
A 533 is tied for 10th on our hot times board. So our age-old adage, "I'll just set a hot time," is very evident here.
And again, that's just 1 second off of his PB. So saw Atalito play fantastically. You have to wonder if he didn't make that misdrop, he could have gotten a new PB here. And that's why you got to be super careful. Every time we saying got him right where you want him, Betty. And we've got the 3-2-1 pills. And we are off, maybe. There goes Atalito. There goes Betty. And we're looking at some boards here. If Atalito can open up the center of his board very quickly, and he does. Meanwhile, Larva, Betty's going to get a very fortuitous double yellow. That's going to open up some options for her on that right side.
She does need a lot of blue help right now, but I do think that she can pull that together pretty well. Nice L from Betty right there.
A long form
and I've seen her
well.
shaking. Yeah, I've seen her shaking her head, but I don't think that it's necessarily been too bad of any RNG or anything like that for her. I think that she's just being very hard on herself.
Yeah, she's been playing brilliantly here to start. She's going to get these blues to drop down. That's going to give her a ton of options. She's got an option for a triple clear on that blue. She could slide that double blue in, set up for the blue in column 5. She does exactly that. She is playing brilliantly here, flirting with a sub 60-second level 6. She's out at a minute 3 seconds. I don't know if that's her best 6, but I don't think I've seen a better 6 from Betty until today. And then
Yeah.
look
Oh,
at this
and
double
I
blue.
love
Wow.
that. Love it.
Huge play by Betty. Looks like she might have been deciding to set up, but now she's kind of locked herself. She's going to have to either come up with a creative solution here or completely abandon ship on that. That could handcuff her.
We know Betty. She's gonna stick with that setup.
Meanwhile,
Until she finds what she needs.
Meanwhile, Atalito is doing a nice 3 virus combo, putting him down to 18. Still behind on Betty here. And Betty now making a good play. She's going to be down to 10. So Betty getting Atalito right into a comfort zone and then pulling him out of it. This is a really good board from Betty. The only problem I'm seeing, Larva, is that double yellow in column 6.
Yeah, that's really the only thing I see, but she can use that. Oh, wonderful. She gets a couple of double yellows. Very, very, very lucky, and she gets that last one. She's going to be at it at 214.
Betty has knocked out 2 levels in under 150 seconds. This is phenomenal play we're seeing out of Betty, and it just goes to show you drive after a loss like that, you drive yourself, you play better, and we're seeing it right here. Although Betty's going to have to come up with a solution here because she's got a very split board, but has a great opportunity for some underclears horizontally. She's looking at one with those double yellows, and she's going to get a blue, opens up a yellow, and goes for the vertical underclear. Handcuffs herself for horizontal play with those reds on top. I don't know if that was the decision to make.
Maybe not, but she did get a timely double red blitz, which you rarely hear us say that it's timely.
Right?
But it was timely, and it helped her a lot to get things cleared out, exactly what she needs.
Atalito, meanwhile, looks like he's handcuffed on column 6, looking like he might be going for an underclear here. Getting that horizontal, might have gone for the, might have decided to eat some drop time and taken that other option with the reds, but doesn't. He's down to 6, Betty down to 12 here. She is a bit locked in. It's a little bit tough going on that lower right side. We'll see what she decides to do. It looks like she's going to drop and drill here. I think that's the right decision, and now she has things open up. Good play there by Betty to get that D sandwich.
Yeah, and I am a little bit worried about her column 1. Let's see if she kind of de-sandwiches that red and takes that horizontally. That seems like a very Betty play.
Betty's got a fortuitous double
that's
red
exactly
here.
what she's going to do.
She is going to combo out. However, Atalito has taken the lead, but Betty is not going to be far behind with this double red. She's going to be out at 4:07. Shout out to our folks in Montana. Little area code humor for...
I was going to say, do you know every area code?
Not everyone, but I know that one. And I guess that joke was pretty much for me, but hey, sometimes I got to make myself laugh. Anyways, we are on level 9 here.
I made a 301 area joke earlier that nobody got but me.
Exactly. You just got to laugh at yourself sometimes. We are on level 9 here, though, and Betty still holding firm against Atalito. They are neck and neck, 20-19, as we go into this final level. Betty, I think, was maybe looking for that underclear by her reaction, but she's still going to set up nicely for a horizontal along that bottom row. She's really going to need to open up that right side, and she is starting to, Larva.
Yeah, but she does not need a lot of yellow help right now, and she's getting a bit of it.
She's getting some doubles here.
Blue.
These are huge. These are huge doubles. A great
Love
drop combo.
that.
She's got herself an opportunity for a horizontal clear. She's down to 6. It is 9 for Atalito. Betty could force a decider here. It's now down 8-5. Now it's 4-8, and that's a big double and a double red. Huge for Betty. Betty could be. Betty looking to get that decider, just needing a couple of blues. There's 1. There's 2. Betty is going to force a game 3 with a 5:30.
Wow.
amazing time by Betty B. That might even be a PB, Larva. What a fantastic run by Betty. And I'm taking a look. But believe it or not, she has taken 40 seconds off of her PB. What a run by Betty.
That was great. And you could see her reaction. She doesn't watch the screen until the very end, but she does look. She's trying not to explode right now, basically, is what's happening.
Regardless of what happens in the decider, you take one from Atalito, you've got to feel good about yourself. She could take another.
Mm-hmm.
That was a performance for the ages, and it all started with just those two blazing fast levels, Larva.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, it's always an any given Sunday situation. And even Adelito says, there's not much you can do against that. Yeah, you set a personal best, you set a hot time.
PB strats, baby. PB strats.
And a 5:30 actually puts Betty at 6th on her own on the hot times list.
Fantastic. And that's a better PB than Adelito. So she brought her A game on that. She's now could potentially force and end a 24-game winning streak by Atalito. It's going to come down to this. We're just waiting on a timer reset by Betty, and I think we're good to go. And Atalito saying losing at 5:44 was what I needed, Betty. Uh-oh.
He's going to pull a Packy. Oh, no.
And we've seen Packy. Packy plays angry after a loss, and we'll see if it happens here.
That's why I let him sweep me yesterday.
Well, we made the joke last night, winner buys dinner, so hope you enjoy those Packy bought crab cakes. 3, 2, 1 pills in our second consecutive decider. This one closing out our first round. And here we go, 28-28 here. Good start for Betty. She's got an open board. She can really start going through on a lot of stuff down in that lower left corner, lower right area as well. Starting to play smart here, getting these one pill clears. These are very smart plays. Another double red here by Betty would be humongous. Meanwhile, Atalito, 19 viruses already, has a little bit of a hang up on his right side. It'll force some drop time, but it will get him a nice clear and also a setup on that last overhanging yellow in column 8, which he immediately clears.
Yet, Betty getting a couple of double yellows that she really didn't need, but she was able to get rid of them. She's going. There we go. She goes for that T. I like that move.
I
want her to try to get that blue horizontally. I think she's going to go for it. Yep. There she goes.
Great play by Betty. It's 9-9 here. She's again holding firm against Atalito. Has some great setups here, a horizontal. She's gonna de-sandwich that. I think that's the play. She's got 2 double yellows. She's gonna try to go vertically on that, horizontally on the others. This is an open board for Betty. Atalito's struggling a little bit. He's got that yellow in column 1 that he does clear out. He is gonna be out at a minute 13, but Betty right behind it, a minute 15. Here we go, folks. Game 3, both these players bringing it on. Ooh, that's a quick misdrop by Betty, but it's easy one to fix. She's going to suffer a little drop time, but has the setup.
Oh, and a nice adjustment from Betty to get that red-blue in the position that she wanted for it. Nice horizontal drop. That's what we love to see from Betty.
Betty rocking some important horizontal clears. She's still down by a couple viruses, but she's setting things up, getting a mid-board sweet tea. Huge play. She has to be careful about her blue usage, though, here, Larva. She's only down to 2 blue viruses.
Yeah, and both of them are down way at the bottom of her board. But fortunately, it seems like she's not getting any double blues, so she is able to use what she needs. Clears out 1 blue, and then the setup dropped a blue half down exactly where she could use it for a different blue pill. So very good. I don't know if that was something she saw or just nice happenstance, but Betty's down to 5. Adelito just needs this one. He's gonna be out at a 242.
Yeah, Atalito was fishing for a blue or a yellow-red, and he finally got one. But Betty here is going to suffer a little drop time, but needs one red out right behind it at 255, keeping this competitive. This is by no means a runaway right now for Atalito. It is 36-33, and Betty already off to a rocket start, getting a 4 clear, a fat lightning bolt. Love seeing that. 32-32 here, neck and neck as we're on level 8.
Exactly. Even my cat's excited. She's up here to watch. So, you know,
Shout
not
out to our fur babies here in the DrMC community. 25 viruses to go. Atalito starting to pull away here with an 18. Betty really starting to need some sort of big play. Looks like she might be getting a little flustered, making a couple of mistakes here, but she's still got an opportunity. Looking for a yellow. She's going to get it. Going to drop some more down. Look at that combo. Excellent setup by Betty, trying to stay alive. Down by 5 viruses. She is holding on for dear life, setting up for a horizontal. I think that's a good decision. It may not look like it on paper initially, but she can tuck something over. She could tuck a yellow over here, looking maybe for a yellow-red. I think that is what she's looking for, Larva.
Yeah, she's looking for something very specific. She starts with some of those yellows. There we go. And the thing with Betty is that she'll start it, and she'll start her combo, and everything underneath it will fall into place.
She's become so very, very good at that. She did have the opportunity, and I think maybe she's looking for it on that bottom row, maybe looking for a double horizontal clear. Not going to take it, instead setting up for a vertical or a horizontal red here, and she's handcuffed in that second column, maybe going for that horizontal. It looks like that's what it is. Atalito firmly in level 9. It's going to be, Betty's going to have to pull another big one out here. It's a 9 virus deficit for Betty, and Atalito's got a speedrunner favorite board here. A lot of doubles for him.
Hopefully, Betty can do that. We'll see. And sometimes that also is if the doctor wants to be nice to you, which we all know that that's not his favorite thing to do.
Definitely not, but Betty's starting to go to town here. 30 viruses, but Atalito starting to pull away at 17. He's starting to get a little bit of blue drought here, but he's going to get a 4 clear horizontally. That's huge for him, but he has a lot of overhanging garbage he's going to need to address. This is an opportunity for Betty to start chipping away. It's a 22-11. She's going to need some favorable RNG, not quite getting it here. Could have tucked underneath. I think maybe that would have been the play, getting those double yellows off the board. Doesn't look like she's doing that. She does have a double red here, and I think the play is to maybe address that somehow. Ooh, an overhang. I don't know if that was intentional, Larva. Looks like it might not have been. There's the play. There's a drop cross. There's another drop cross. She's suddenly down to 10. Atalito playing a bit of a messy board, but he's got everything he needs to set up. He's just got to clear out some garbage in row 3. He needs 2 viruses, and he is setting up for that horizontal. He's going to get the other horizontal. He is down to 1. He's just needing 1 blue. He is going to get it, and he will take game 3. But a valiant effort by Betty. She is very, very close to finishing as well. A great game to close out round 1.
That was beautiful. That combo from Betty. Oh, I want combos like that.
A 631, and I don't. If you're Betty, you cannot be mad at that loss. Taking Atalito to the limit, and you kept it close throughout most of that decider. But it is Atalito advancing. He will be playing Don Venier a little bit later on in our second round. Larva, I want to thank you for joining me in the booth. You called 2 great matches, and we'll be seeing you next month more than likely for our October bracket. So be sure to follow Larva12 on Twitch. We are going to take a quick break, and when we do, we are going to start round number 2, levels 8 to 11. Big matchup to start. Packy versus Savage Octagon, and I know who Larva's pulling for, but we'll see who wins on the other side of this break. This is the Dr. Mario Championship. And welcome back to the Dr. Mario Championship. We just saw a match of the year candidate, and we have to go straight from that to our 1 versus 8 as far as the seedings go. But in our overall rankings, it's the 2nd versus the 4th player. Packy 619 versus Savage Octagon. I'm joined by Ook the Librarian, and there's some implications with this match, isn't there?
Absolutely. With Watchmuh not making it out of round 1, as we saw earlier tonight, then Packy can lock up the number 2 spot if he wins this match against Savage. Of course, Savage looking to make some gains on Watchmuh as well and re-flip-flop the slots, as she was our number 3 seed up until last month. So it's gonna be a question of whichever one, either one of these players winning is going to mean a lot to them.
Absolutely, and this is their 8th meeting. Packy currently holds the series 4-3. The winner of this will take on Flindo versus Frank tomorrow on semifinals Sunday. Big match here. Packy rocking the blue and Savage rocking the red. Hopefully that doesn't mean any red blitzes, and if it does, I know who's going to be fighting me soon. But let's get this going here. We've got readies from Packy, and I think we've got a ready from Savage. So let's do this. As Larva putting up the peaky emoji in our chat. Thank you, 95 of you watching. We've got 3, 2, 1 Pills Ook. Let's do this. Let's take a look at these boards. Pretty even as far as things go.
Yes, indeed. And a reminder to those who may not have seen this before, we have moved on to levels 8 through 11. This is our second round. So everything is going to be a little bit higher on the board, a lot more going on. And yeah, I don't have any real feelings about either one of these boards there, JB, but Packy's going to be seeing some yellow problems very, very shortly.
Yeah, there's all of his yellow is just on the bottom half of that board, so he's got to be creative with any yellow pills that come his way. And a great elf clear there by Packy, putting him down to 22. Savage at 23. And now that I'm kind of looking at this is a great end board for Savage. A lot of double opportunities, both horizontally and vertically.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see she's already thinking forward and trying to do what Packy has been teaching us all this time, and that is plan for both horizontals and verticals in your end game. Savage doing a lot of that already to try to get her way out of this board.
And it looks like she's going to set up for some under clears and now has a lot of options with that 2x2 block of double yellows. Opts to go vertically, can also set up a nice clear for those double reds over in column 1. Savage holding on to a slight lead, and I think a better board advantage right now as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Savage has been running into the question of what do I do with this pill? Not where do I put it, but which option that I've got among like 5 is going to be the most advantageous. And so far, everything's worked out as she's out at a 135.
Meanwhile, Packy getting 3 consecutive yellows out right behind at a 143. Savage off to a rough start. Not a lot of red for her. She had to make an early intentional misdrop to really try to get some options going for her.
Yeah, interesting choice. Okay, I see what she's planning now. As she is going to hope for another red-blue. There it is, and that is going to drop these 3 yellows down, have everything ready to go. So she doesn't have to worry about garbage with any of this.
Packy was in a little dangerous situation, had a couple of misdrops, and was stacked 2 rows from the very top of the bottle there. A top out means you've got to start over, and he was very much in danger of that. Got the garbage to fall down, though, and he's back in this, although he's down by quite a bit. You don't see Packy down by this many viruses too often.
No, you don't. And, you know, since you mentioned the misdrop, that was or the top out, that was a strategy we saw employed yesterday by Ibar, who did end up winning his game against Sarah, despite the fact that in level 9 he pulled a top out fairly, particularly late in the level.
Absolutely, and usually top out spell doom. That's one of the rare times we've seen a win on a top out. But right now, Savage is setting up a nice triple clear down on that bottom row, and then a double yellow to clear it out. Didn't need to undertuck, but why not? Out at a 306, and meanwhile, Packy's struggling with a big cluster on that bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah, Packy's looking for a lot of horizontals, and he does have a really smart setup. You can see the reds are offset, and that drop right there is going to put them in where they need to go. What he doesn't have is the type of bridge that he really wants to set up these blues. There he's going to get it. He's going to be out as soon as this double blue drops at a 335.
Yeah, very fortuitous RNG to end that level. He's still down by over a double-digit amount of viruses here, as we see Savage packing things in on that, basically on the entire board, looking for some sort of combo to go her way. Maybe for that horizontal yellow, that would be huge for her. It would drop that garbage down and get more, but you see she's really packing things tight.
Yeah, blue yellow would have been particularly perfect, but now she's just kind of having to wing out whatever she can with what's left. That has given Packy a little bit of time, but Savage still maintaining a really solid lead here. As yeah, we are about halfway through this level, and she's already still got a 11 virus lead.
And if Savage can get some blue, she could really bust this game wide open. Just that big cluster of blue. She is going to get a blue for a triple clear, setting up vertically for the red as well in column 8. And now she's free and clear. She can do pretty much whatever she pleases here, although she's going to have to pick to go vertically or horizontally. She does pick the vertical clear first. That's usually the best thing. It's a lot easier to get those double clears rather than the single clear. Out
Yeah,
at a
and
446.
a really smart tap right at the end of that level um, as she had the option to lay down on the blues and decided to use the red as she saw that she was getting a blue with the next pill.
And a
So a
good
really smart end game play there for Savage.
And a split board now on 11 for Savage. That's not necessarily a bad thing here, because there's a lot of doubles she can clear on the right side to open things up. That left side's looking a little dangerous, though. She's got a high stack and really needs to clear that red garbage at the top of column 3, as she does.
Yes, indeed. And as she's doing that, Packy out at a 527. This is starting to look like the sort of board where Packy will be very angry very shortly.
And
And it's Savage is really playing well, and Packy just not getting the RNG that he needs to really bring this one back.
it's not the way Packy plays is he just plays incredibly fast, just makes quick snap decisions, and if he's not getting the RNG, it hampers him a lot. Meanwhile, Savage is a lot more methodical of a player, really eyeballs what combo she can play, and that really is advantageous for her in a situation like this.
Yeah, I really like the setup that Savage has at the bottom here. She has the option to use this yellow horizontally. I think that's the plan, and yeah, it should be. Well, she maybe proved me wrong. We'll see. Nope,
Going for
decides to go for it, and now she's got to get rid of some garbage before she can get to the bottom of her board.
She may even want to think about a horizontal clear on that blue towards the top of column 4 at this point to drop those reds down, especially with Packy creeping up. He's down to 12, and with this clear, he's going to be in single digits. He doesn't have any blue that's going to help him out, so he's really got to make some snap decisions here. But it isn't going to matter, as Savage out at a 649, and if my math is correct here, she's taken she's taken about 23 seconds off of her PB with that run.
Maybe you're right. Let me take a look. As I just had the wrong one pulled up. Nope, Savage does have a 643 PB in this one, but it was not from this year.
Okay, so this is a 2023 PB for her.
We'll call it that, absolutely.
But
So GG's to both players, and yeah,
that's
now's the game to look out for.
Now's the game to look out for. As we know, if Packy takes that first loss, he will go to town and really kick it into another gear, as he is ready to go.
All right, so red is from Packy.
I think we're waiting on Savage for a ready.
Yep, I'm double checking to make sure we hadn't gotten one yet. Will she ever be ready? That's the real question, because
Savage would tell you that she was born ready.
Yeah, through the shakes. So 3, 2, 1, and pills comes up in our chat.
And off we go. A good double board for Packy. I'm a little concerned about the lack of viruses towards the bottom of his board. Savage has not necessarily the same thing, but it looks like a lot of her reds are going to be concentrated towards the bottom of the board. So she's really going to have to be creative early on with these decisions when she does get red. And we're seeing that here as she's at 28, but Packy already blazing through down to 20.
Yeah, Savage was finding ways to use her red as quickly as or as much as she could. Gonna get a nice T here though. That's really gonna move her forward in this board. But yeah, as you said, Packy already making a good way through this one. But this barge on his right hand side, it's really packed together. So that could be a really good thing or a really bad thing depending on the pills.
He's trying to set up maybe on both sides. This is a huge double blue, solves that problem immediately, and he is going to. And the overhang is not going to matter as he does get that fat bolt. He is going to drop everything down. He's already down to 5. Meanwhile, Savage struggling, looking for some red. Going to get a double red. That's huge. Opens things up for her, and now has a little bit more flexibility on that board. Now can go double yellow horizontal, and she will. She could get a double red here, Ook. She could make a really nice tuck.
Yeah, double red would be the pill for her. Is Packy out at a 124, and like we said, this is the game to look out for because Packy doesn't lose 2 games in a row very often, and this is why. It's because he just turns on to another level. Complacency is not his vocabulary, but response definitely is. A Savage joins him in level 9.
Out at about a 140. Savage getting some double red and that double yellow, getting a nice opening setup here. Yellow is going to be a little bit scarce for her, as I'm seeing, Ook. Really a lot of that yellow tucked into that bottom left corner, so she's really going to have to try to open things up. Looking for red blues, that's the key pill we're looking for here for Savage, and she's going to get a nice double red, opening up the bottom of that board a little bit.
Yeah, that triple at the bottom was real nice for her. And I like that she's got a place to put red yellows considering how much how often those pills come up. And yeah, it's been about as well as this level can be played. Meanwhile, Packy just tearing this one up. He is maintaining a very slight lead. But it is definitely advantage Savage on the bottom of her board with all of the double opportunities that she has got. She has the opportunity to pull a quad here.
And if I'm Savage, I take it. It's a huge play. That red virus overhanging in column 4 is absolutely the last thing she's going to go for, and absolutely has the opportunity for a quad. Maybe just going to stack up just in case. There it is. She is going to be out first. It looks like here, barring a disaster, out at a 302. So Savage taking the lead here, but Packy just needing a handful of blues, and he can get back in this.
Yeah, and Packy getting those blues, he's going to set up for the horizontals and just avoid his drop time. There's 1 versus the 5 or 6 he'd have here. So he's out at a 321 and 2 levels left. He's going to be really trying to put the pedal to the metal in these.
Absolutely, but Savage maintaining her pace here. Going to drop some reds down, getting another combo clear down to 30, opening up another lead. This is another double-digit lead we've seen her open up on, and that's the thing with Savage. Savage can have one bad round, but she is phenomenal at getting just great placement, even with a tough board. And I would argue that 9 she had was an incredibly tough start, but she managed to work through it. Meanwhile, Packy is down to 33, and he's running into the same problems he did last game, just not getting the pills he needs from the doctor.
Yeah, that's really becoming the issue as, like you said earlier, this is just a huge lead for Savage. She is putting up the round of her life, and she's beaten Packy. What did we say? 3 times, I believe, but every time it feels like she has to put everything she's got into it because that's Packy for you. And this has been one of the best games we've seen her play at this level.
She's playing on another level right now, absolutely. Just needing 5 yellow fragments here, and there's one of them. She's going to go horizontal, and the doctor teasing her a little bit with some not yellow. And there's one now, just needing 2 more. Probably going to hand her a double. Nope, just going to get that last one. Now she just needs to be careful here and not top out. And she's going to go into 11 first at a sub 5.
Yeah, and Packy's down to now all reds, one of his least favorite places to be. So he's just going to be really frustrated coming into level 11. So it's going to be a real question. Is the doctor going to give him what he needs? There's one more. He just needs two. Uh, if not, ooh, it's going to be a tough 11. There he is. So at 525, this is it for Packy. This is going to be, this is the level to call the race.
And it's a speedrunner's delight on both sides. Lots of doubles. The problem I'm seeing for Savage is she's running out of reds, only 6 reds left on this board, and a absolute metric ton of blues. She's going to start needing a blue blitz of some sort. That's helpful. Getting a nice clear, keeping the board nice and open, trying to get some sort of color diversity, and it's so hard when you know that you've got a lack of a balance for one particular color.
Yes, indeed. And this has been so far so good for Savage. She was a little concerned there earlier in the board, but again, like we saw earlier in the game, it was a question of what do I do with all these good pills that I'm getting. What she's going to do is set up for a lot of horizontals, and yeah, really smart plays coming out of Savage here.
And Savage looks like she might swerve here. She might have been setting up for a double drop here, but I think may just go for the single horizontal, and that does look to be the play here. And
That
maybe
would have.
even that I think the double blue should have been placed maybe in a little bit better position, but I don't know if it's going to be of any sort of concern here, as Savage pretty much has this locked up, barring a disaster.
Yeah, she'll be able to undertuck at the end there. She did have an opportunity, but the exact right pill halves had to come up. They did. She just didn't see them quite as quickly. But it doesn't matter now. Out at a 657, Savage Octagon will be playing again tomorrow, and you can see she's keeping a very stoic demeanor about it.
Absolutely stoic.
Yeah, so very similar to what we saw from D-Dave yesterday. Just no emotion on her face. GG's to both of our players as
and this series
Packy
now
with the
this series now evened up at 4. Savage Octagon with the big upset on Packy, and that means Watchmuh still technically in it, I believe, for that second seed. So we'll see how that plays out next month. But Savage Octagon with a huge win. She'll be advancing and will be taking on, if my bracket is correct here, she'll be taking on the winner of Frank and JonDatFlindo in semifinals tomorrow. But Savage's day is done as Packy's tournament is done. We're going to take a break here. Frank and JonDatFlindo. Ook will still be here in the booth with you. He'll be joined by Packy619, and we'll see you on the other side of that break. Also, be sure to support us during this September. All of your subs, all of your bits go back into upgrading everything for our channel, and 108 of you watching. That's phenomenal. We'll be right back. This is the Dr. Mario Championship.
And welcome back to the DrMC. This is our September tournament, and we just watched the first of our second round matches, and I've got Packy619 right here with me co-commentating on this one. And Pack, tough loss, but man, oh man, what a great game.
Yeah, I can't be mad about that one. It's not like I had terrible RNG. I thought my times were pretty good. Hers were just better. She brought her A game and she won. Credit to her.
Yes, indeed. And that's what we are always saying now. It's any given Sunday, any given player. And one of the first matches to teach us that is right here on your screen. So this is Frank versus JonDatFlindo, and heck of a history on this one there, Pack.
Yes, if you look back to, I want to say last year's championship bracket, it might have been the one before that, and I'm not sure.
2022 finals round 2.
Yes, the 2022 finals round 2, where JonDatFlindo became the Titan Slayer and handed Frank his first loss of the year in the championship bracket in this very round.
Yes, but these two have seen each other twice more already this year, and Frank has taken both of them, including another 4-13 second round match, or 5-13, I should say. I get it wrong. It was a 4-13 then, wasn't it? Oh,
it was
well.
a 4-13 because 4-13 comes during the first round.
Yep. So anyway, close to a rematch, but not quite one. regardless, it is going to be a heck of a game. Anything can happen, and it most likely will. And they have started.
In an immediate double red, or not double red, just in the habit of saying double red rush, double yellow rush for JonDatFlindo to start, and he really does not have a whole lot of use for yellows right now.
Yeah, a lot of players would be tempted to take those reds horizontally when presented with all that. Flindo smartly deciding not to do that because it would have just created a lot of garbage for him. Meanwhile, Frank has a really nice combo drop right there. He is looking at not a lot of red availability, but so far it hasn't been a problem for him.
It looks like a lack of yellows on Frank's board right now, but he's coming up with some good zero drop clears to keep everything neat and tidy. Nice little double blue there to get the in between clear.
Frank making
JonDatFlindo's almost has everything on his right hand side right now. If he can bust that red in column 7, it'll open up the in between clear in column 8.
Frank making me jealous of his ability to do what I've called beef tipping, just quickly making these sliding plays. It's something I've been working on for a couple of years now in my play, and he just makes it look so easy.
Frank already out of his 8 at under probably at about a minute 20, which is absolutely outstanding for that little particular level. Looks like he's really trying to. Oh, here we go. Perfect.
There it is. Has he memorized everything? Is that what's going on? You have to wonder.
Yeah, well, I can't say for sure, honestly, because there are ways to figure out how to time your starts so that you kind of know what you're going to get. But
That's definitely not what Frank is doing.
yeah,
He is.
Frank just sometimes he gets a little good luck to go with his insane skill, and that's really what you just saw there. So he's just ripping through this level 9 right now.
I mean, there's only what 16 to the 4th possible combinations. I mean, sure, he's probably just seen them all. That's all. That's all it is. All right. So
Yep.
yeah, as Frank keeps a small lead here, Flindo is at the bottom of his board as well.
Yeah, looks like the horizontal is set up for that blue on column 5 on Frank's board, so he just needs a whole bunch of red to get out of here.
Yeah. Oh, really nice. But Flindo he's just needing 3 red himself. These two practically tied, so it's a matter of who's going to get the reds first.
Oh,
It's going to be
man.
Flindo out of
Frank
the
is
3
just getting
flat.
hammered by RNG, and there he finally gets it out at a 259. JonDatFlindo is a little bit ahead in terms of his timer, so I think Frank has a very narrow lead at this point, but we're only halfway through the level block. There's a lot to go.
Yeah, it's about a 1 second lead, and now Flindo with that red on top. I'm not sure that was the
That's
plan.
rough. He's going to have an awfully hard time building up to get a red horizontal there. He's basically going to need 2 double reds in a row to slip into column 1 in order to do that. Otherwise, he has no choice but to try to build up on his empty column 5.
Yeah, that's a
That is
real
going to be
tragedy
rough.
right there.
There's 1 double red.
Yep.
Can you
I
get
think he's
one
going to wait for
more?
it.
And there's a nice little lightning log there. And the right-hand side of his board is pretty much completely clean. But right now, he's at the mercy of RNG. He can't really get out of that without another double red. So he has no choice but to wait.
Yeah,
And there it is.
Let's see if he swings it. There he goes. Wow. But yeah, in that time, actually, Frank only keeping 3 or 4 viruses ahead of Flindo. That's a testament to the way Flindo has been playing, keeping himself in this board. It could have been terrible.
As bad as that situation looked for Flindo, he really did not waste very many pills, even when he basically only had half of his board available to him. Now everything is on the left-hand side, and he's basically been working with half a board this entire game, but he's been getting the right RNG to handle it with.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not happening for him now, as he's got a mostly red top line, and A lot of the reds, he can't do anything unless it's double reds. He does have use for red blue right now, and now finally red yellow, but it's been kind of rough for him. And Frank using that opportunity out at a 503 to really start taking a good lead.
Yeah, right now the problem with working with half a board is that it's much more difficult to maintain a diverse top line, and you can see that there with how JonDatFlindo had to basically work around a lack of color diversity, and whenever he got a pill with a half that wasn't a color of the virus he had immediate access to, he really had no choice but to throw it away. Otherwise, he'd have garbage on his board that he'd have to work around.
Yeah, so about 30 seconds behind here is Flindo, and Frank, getting the setups that he needs at the top of this board, has already kind of worked his way into the mid game, and with 2 sets of doubles there, can really make some damage if the doctor gives him the double blues that he needs. There's one, and I think he's going to set up, under clear and just have everything ready to go.
JonDatFlindo really needs a lot of red help right now, but he has managed to close the gap a little bit, down to 11 viruses now.
Yeah, and
if he can get some friendly RNG to take out these double clears, he might be able to catch up. Uh-oh.
So we have lost him. We will get him back very shortly. Or he just had a really bad misdrop that we didn't see and just and just gave up. But I don't think that's what happened.
He might have misdropped his streaming software.
Yeah, that's a very distinct possibility. But so far, it has been going well for Frank, as he needs just another red and another blue to be out here. We will see. He's going to be out at sub 7. So, wow,
nice,
first off.
Very nice.
And secondly, we're going to wait and see what JonDatFlindo gets for us. But yep, Twitch going to Twitch. That is absolutely right, chat. So give us just a second. We're going to try to get that back up and running for you.
That is actually Frank's fastest 8 through 11 in 2023.
Nice.
Thus far. So JonDatFlindo is telling us that he had a time of 7:14, which is a 15-second difference.
And his stream is still up, so... We're just going to take a second, and there he is, right back on in.
And we are back.
All right, so let's get those readies in the chat for our players, and we will be ready to continue this one right on.
We got a soft reset from Frank.
Get it ready from Flindo.
Like both players are now in position.
And ready from Frank.
We got our readies. We got our countdown. 3, 2, 1, pills.
All right. So JonDatFlindo, playing for his life, does not get a very favorable first pill. It always feels bad, but it's not the end of the world, and you know what? He knows it.
Eyeballing a couple of horizontals. Nice double clear there.
Yep, gets everything pretty well cleared out. Now he's got to start thinking about what he's going to do about yellows if he doesn't get the reds he needs. And the doctor has proven getting the red you need, well, ugh.
Doesn't always happen, but he's got a nice T set up here. And let's see if he drops this one in the middle of the board to set up another T in the middle. Yep.
Yeah, and JonDatFlindo again showing us that he is the captain of the swim team. Is going to get some really nice swims going here. Meanwhile, Frank also having some yellow woes as he is just now getting down to where he can get access to the ones at the bottom of his board, but a lot of floaty blues and reds up on the right hand side there.
JonDatFlindo has a small lead, but he's also working with a split board right now. Most of it's in columns 1 and 2. And as nice as it might be to get those 2 reds on the top horizontally, it's an awful lot of buildup to get to that.
Yeah, although it does look like everything is still coming up with the options for that. Goes ahead and makes the call, though. This is the right time to make that, as he gets a nice clear that's going to allow him to underclear this red on the left hand side, and yeah, just smart underclears all around. But Frank's going to be out first at a 151, and Flindo not going to be too far behind. He just needs one more blue.
And now the double
And gets
red
a red
rush.
blitz.
Just the worst time to get a double red rush. Shaking his head. He knows what's going on.
Yep, 213.
Yeah, tough 8 for both players. And look at that blue staircase on Flindo's board right now.
Yep, he can make it work. He just needs the right pills, and smartly does not use the blue where he was originally thinking about. That could have been a problem,
Nice
but
lightning
gets a
log.
lovely log there.
JonDatFlindo's board suddenly looking a lot better now that he doesn't have to deal with that staircase anymore.
Yeah, and
Looks like he
that
dropped that one.
but he gets
Not a
another
big
double
deal, though.
blue
He's
to
going to
rescue.
solve that right away, and he's going to get another one just like that. No problem.
Wow.
But he only has one blue virus left on his board.
Yep, but he's using them. Oh, look at this. He's not going to make the. Okay, I thought he was about to make the T there and just set a whole bunch of stuff in motion with that double yellow. Decided not to do it, and is just going to be taking everything out in a little more traditional manner. But as we're watching that, Frank is about to be out as soon as he gets another red, and he'll be out at a 326 on into level 10.
Considering how Frank's 8 went, that's a pretty strong 9.
Yeah, and Flindo is going to be
He's
able
got
to set up a
horizontal setup. He's going to
horizontal.
be out of here very quickly. 347.
So definitely made up some time. It's still a little bit of ways to go, but definitely not in the situation he was in at the end of level 8.
Let's see how Flindo decides to attack this board. There's that red horizontal in columns 4 and 5 you know he's looking for, and that double red is going to be the perfect pill to trigger it.
Yeah, I think he was waiting on a red yellow, but it just wasn't coming. So, and
I like that setup by Flindo.
Yep.
He didn't really have anywhere perfect to put those blue yellows, so that really was a pretty good spot for it.
Yep, and on Frank's side, we see he's makes a nice drop clear there. Decides not to handle the horizontals immediately and gets awarded with a bracket clear that he is going to be able to use with really minimum
Nice
waste
tee.
of pills. This has been a clean end game for Frank.
Both players really putting on a clinic in this level after some rough level 8s. In about 5 minutes, Frank is out of his 10.
Flinto's not going to be far behind him. He just needs quite a bit of red and a little bit of blue. Smartly prioritizing the reds over the blues, and now has it set up to where he can do a horizontal. Not sure I would have used the red there, but there's a
2.
double. Just needs one more.
There
One
it
more
is.
dot.
5:29, so he's about half a minute behind right now. Frank is setting up for a big combo if he can just the double yellow would be ideal, but He
Had to pull the
creates
trigger.
himself a situation where he can use a lot of other pills to not make any more garbage than needed.
Yeah, and sometimes you just pull the trigger on those. And it's just not a friendly board for Frank. He's making the best he can of it, but it's just been kind of icky altogether. But manages to avoid a whole lot of garbage there with that great clear. Meanwhile, on Flindo's board, just I mean, he's managing to get everything worked out the way he would like, but not without a little bit of garbage. And now he doesn't have any access to blue.
Yeah, right now, just looking at the board state, I mean, there's both of them really have a lack of access to blue right now, but Frank is 15 viruses ahead, and it looks like he's pretty much got this one locked up. Maybe what he's trying to do is clear that blue, and then here, oh, that's exactly, oh, he flipped it the wrong way.
Oh, that misflip is going to be big for him.
Oh,
So,
man, it's like a horizontal panini.
yes, indeed. So the question then becomes, do you clear it out or do you just start working on verticals? He's really got things buried, so the verticals may not be the most efficient manner.
Yeah. The way it
Oh,
stands right
man.
now, I think what you might want to do, yeah, clear out column 5, get the red down there, and set up the horizontal.
So that really put him behind, but a 726 is going to be Frank's time. So GG's to him. He will be going on tomorrow to face Savage Octagon in the semifinals.
GG's to both players. JonDatFlindo put up a good fight. Frank had a pretty catastrophic error at the end of that one. He had the lightning log perfectly set up and just flipped it wrong, but managed to course correct and had enough of a time buffer to correct his board and find an efficient way out.
Yep. So commiserations to JonDatFlindo. The pills were just not friendly, but GG's anyway. Stick around. When we come back, it's going to be our number 3 seed Atalito versus our number 6 seed Dawn. You're not going to want to miss that. You are watching the DrMC September Championships.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the September 2023 edition of the Dr. Mario Speed Championships Gold Bracket. And we got another round 1 matchup for you, and this should be a real good one. We got Don Vigneault versus our world record 0 to 10 and 0 to 20 holder, Atalito. Atalito has not lost in a pretty long time, and joining me in the booth to tell you all about it is JonDatFlindo, who you just saw going up against Frank. John, how you feeling right now, man?
You know, it is what it is. When the pills aren't there, the pills aren't there. I'm just happy to have gotten to round 2 again. But hey, getting on to this match, we have our 3 seed Atalito versus our 6 seed Don Vigneault. And yes, as you were just saying, Packy, Atalito has not lost since I believe it was January. And he now has a 25 match win streak, which is the biggest win streak record we've ever had in the DrMC. The next closest was Frank with 21 win streak, which some guy named JonDatFlindo broke. I don't know about that, but
Well, I remember calling that match, and it was pretty hype. But right now, today's a new day. It's a new bracket, and now we got Atalito and Don getting ready to go. And we got readies.
yeah, and our 3, 2, 1 pills.
And we're off. Don with a very bunched up middle of his board to start. Interesting.
Yeah, I like the horizontal opportunities that he's got, though. You do notice there in his about columns 2 to 4 towards the bottom of his board, there is that huge gap that he's going to have to work with. It could give him some drop time issues, but we're going to see how that's going to go as Atalito with a fairly even board. A lot more red and blue than I'd like to see at the top, though. And now they say it was even at first. Now he's starting to get pretty split there, Packy.
Yeah, right now it just seems like a giant U, and there are a couple of viruses in the middle of his board there, but it looks like he's got a fat log set up. If he can get a, here comes the blue yellow.
Fat log, let's go. Don's just down to red and yellows left on his board. Curious to see if he's going to try to open up those reds at the bottom to take horizontally. He does signal that that is what he's going for. He's just going to need one more blue to open that up. Meanwhile, Atalito working on some horizontals at the bottom of his board himself. Gonna get one. Here comes the other. But Don out at a 121.
Ooh,
And
wow.
Atalito
Just
just
waiting
needing
for
one
a
more
blue.
blue.
There it
There
is,
it is.
124. Two incredibly solid times for level 8.
Don's got a very low board to work with, and that's all I can say. It's very low, and it's going to be useful for him to just hold down as much as he can, get those pills dropped. He does have that big drop time that he does sacrifice, but he ends up with a clear, so not terrible for him.
Let's see how he decides to attack his board here, because he had a lot of interesting in-between clear opportunities on the right-hand side of his board. Nice little split clear there. He just needs a ton of blue help right now. He's got like that blue staircase going all the way down from the left-hand side of his board.
Atalito with a nice drop combo into a horizontal. He's just making some really great plays with what he's got. Down to 18 viruses. Don, meanwhile, down to 7 viruses. Don taking an odd lead from Atalito. But, we saw earlier with Betty taking that game off of Atalito. We'll see here if Don's able to replicate that as we are getting close to our penultimate level in this first game. Don just needing a couple more blues and some red. Atalito needing a little bit of everything, but mostly blue pack.
I mean, both of them need a lot of blue. Atalito doesn't need as much blue as Don does. And Don is out at about a 306, and Atalito's out at about a 302. So Atalito managing to take a slight lead here and quickly close the gap.
Absolutely. And I'm loving the starting board here for Atalito. He's had a bunch of colors kind of bunched up together. Now that he's starting to get towards that second phase of his board, there's a lot more red there that I'd like to see for him. But he does have some opportunities to get some really nice clears if the pills come his way, which they are beginning to.
Yeah, he had some in-between clear opportunities in columns 3 and 4 earlier. Decided to go with a horizontal on the top end of his board instead. Nice horizontal drop combo there, keeping everything in line. He really has very little use for yellows, though. There's only 3 yellow viruses left on this board, and now 2. We'll see if this color diversity issue allows Don the chance to close the gap here.
Yeah, I was just looking at Don's board, and his board is just a lot more diverse color-wise than Atalito's is at the moment. Making some really great plays. You see him getting that drop time to set up potentially maybe a horizontal there in his row 2 if he can get the yellows in column 6 cleared out. And with this double yellow, he's going to be able to do exactly that.
Now he's waiting for a blue-red to trigger that lightning log on the bottom of his board. Getting a little bit indecisive about that blue-yellow, but looks like he has it under control. And here's what he's been waiting for. Oh, and a perfect double yellow to take that one out too. Like what he did with that double red, setting everything up. There he is. He's out at a 503, and
But
Atalito
Atalito at a 458.
It is a close one. Atalito has a lack of access to blues to start out, but that horizontal clear changes that situation in a hurry.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Don has pretty much no access to red at this point. He's going to be able to open up a little bit here once he clears out these yellows, in his column 3. And there they are. But with this double red, He wisely clears out the garbage to leave that access. I like that play.
Yeah, he had a couple options. He could have taken that that obvious double virus clear in column 3 or 4, I think it was. He had a number of things he could have done with that. He chose to take out that horizontal and give himself access to the rest of his board.
But meanwhile, over on Atalito's side, he's just got 3 red viruses remaining. A lot of yellow, a lot of blue that he's having to work with. He is getting some of the yellow that he needs. Blue, as is typical of this game, just not showing up.
Yeah, it's a 4 virus game right now. Atalito has the slight time advantage as well. There you can see the difference of about 6 seconds between each player's screen. Atalito needs blue help, and he's getting served hot dogs en masse right now.
Finally gets 1 blue half, then followed by another, but it's
Yeah,
just
the doctor is being quite stingy right now with his blues. Looks like he's setting up for the horizontal to take out the yellow viruses on the bottom of his board, and there it is. And this is going to let him drop the rest of the blue fragments. So now he just needs a few more blues to get out of this.
yeah. I just noticed on Don's side, looks like there may have been a misdrop in his column 8. And
And
it's hard to say.
Atalito's really having a hard time with this. But it looks like he's finally got what he needs, and now he's going to be out at a 7-18.
And Don is already past that, so Atalito takes the first game of the match as Don out at a 7:32. Still a pretty solid time.
Yeah, that misdrop on column 8 probably cost him. He might have been able to take game 1 if it weren't for that, but he's keeping up with him. So we got it ready from Don, ready to roll the game 2.
Yeah. Atalito going to get a quick top out here. I like to call it an overdose.
All right.
And we have our ready from Atalito.
And we're off. 3, 2, 1. Pills. Interesting board. A double red would be great, but it looks like he's going to just go ahead and attack this board a little more directly. That's going to help him keep everything nice and sorted.
Yeah, I like the setup, though, that he had just in case the double red didn't come. And it worked out beautifully for him as he's down to 28 viruses, though Atalito, with a really nice drop combo there, now down to 24 viruses, has already taken an early lead over Don.
I'm looking at Atalito's board right now, and it looks wonderful. There's a lot of double clear opportunities. Oh,
Ooh,
nice.
love that L.
Nice Eldon into a drop combo right there. It looks like he's setting up for the underclear on this yellow virus. And then that is going to take out 2 more viruses. He is flying through this level 8. Holy smokes. And I like what he's doing here. He's setting up with the blue reds for the horizontal clear. And now he's set up to make the drop combo at a 105.
1:05.
Wow.
Holy cow. That's one of the fastest 8s I've ever seen.
I might be checking speedrun in a minute.
Yeah. Don's not too far behind, though. Just needing some yellow help badly to get down to these blues. Kind of surprised he hasn't gone ahead and tucked those double blues that he was getting in to at least get the blues in column 4. He does take it there, but I'm surprised he didn't go for that sooner.
Right. He just needs yellow help right now, and he's not getting it. But now he's starting to get it. He needs a couple blues and a couple yellows, and he's going to be out of here. Unintentional clear. Bobbing his head back and forth. And about a 158, he gets out of level 8.
Yeah. 50 seconds behind Atalito, which is just insanity. But Atalito looking like he's dealing with a little bit of garbage here in his columns 4 and 5. He does get the one in column 4 cleared out. Interesting to see. He does have the opportunity to maybe drop down that red a couple of viruses down. He's going to need a lot of horizontals to do it, though. He does have the horizontal blue set up if he wants to take it.
Yeah, but we saw that lightning fast 8 from Atalito and the almost 50-second difference between him and Don. But on the virus count, he's within 5.
Yeah, it looks like Don is having a heck of a level 9 here.
Atalito looks like he wants to attack this horizontally. There it goes. It looks like he wants to attack these blue viruses horizontally as well. Let's see how he handles. Yep, he's got the T clear set up. And he has the drop
Gonna be
combo
out of
set
this
up.
with
That
one
is
virus.
perfect.
Oh my gosh. So about a 2-minute level 10 for Atalito. Dawn just needing a few more blues, probably going to build up a bridge to get these blues in 1 and 4 horizontally, which is exactly what he does. Just needs one more. And there it is, out at a 3:37. So Dawn's cut the time deficit down by about half of what it was.
Yep, Atalito and Don, it's starting to tighten up a little bit. Let's see how each player attacks this level, because these are interesting boards here because there's a lack of access to yellow on Don's side and a lack of access to blue on Atalito's side, who's managed to expand his lead to about a baker's dozen of viruses.
Yeah, Don's making some really great plays with what he's been given. You seem potentially, well, no, it's not going to turn into a fat log, but it might turn into some reds dropping down. We'll see what he does with it. He is going to get those reds. I wouldn't be
He's just going
surprised.
to take it out vertically.
Yeah.
Maybe if he can dig down on column 4 a little bit, he can get access to that blue horizontal clear as well.
Huge drop combo there for Atalito. Wondering if he's going to take this blue D sandwich. He does signal that that's what he wants to do. Goes ahead and gets the red clear. I like the decision. So he's not going to get the full D sandwich as he does clear out the reds above, but he does set himself for a nice horizontal out at a 4:59 in his level 10. But Don just needing one more, and Don is 14 seconds behind Atalito now.
Looking at their timer, the timer difference is pretty much the difference between these two players right now. Don has done an exceptional job closing the gap after that huge deficit he faced at the end of level 8. Don setting up that horizontal.
If he can get some more yellows here, this will be something really special.
He's not quite getting the right pills to do this, but he does have a T set up on the right-hand side. And there it is.
Atalito has not a lot of blue left to work with. He's got about 6, which is about a third of his board. Doing his best to get down into the bottom of his board. I like the diversity there at the bottom. It's going to give him a lot of things that he can do in his end game.
Nice horizontal clear by Don Manure, trying to whittle everything down. He's got a lot of blue on this top line that he needs to take care of. If he could have just gotten some blue help, he could have had a big lightning log in the middle of his board, but he really wasn't getting the RNG to do it. I like RPGs. What can I say?
Huge horizontal there for Atalito. Gets the final red out at a 6:44.
Let's see if Don decides to play out the rest of this game. Gets a nice drop combo there. Looks like he's going to keep right on playing. Respect. Now he's going to go. Yep, he knows it's over, so he's just going to go ahead and have a little fun with this. Set up a T in the middle of his board. Into a drop combo. Very nice. I think he's done.
Yeah.
I think he hit the fast forward button, and all of a sudden he tries to top out, and he gets 4 accidental clears. Go figure.
Yeah.
So GG's to both players. Great showing by Atalito, and a great showing by Don as well.
And here's the crazy thing, Packy. A 644 is not even a top 20 time in this level block.
Wow. So this is the Dr. Mario Championships Gold Bracket September 2023 edition. We got one more second round matchup coming for you, and it is Ibar versus Floyd, 1977. So stick with us. This is the Dr. Mario Championships.
And welcome back to the Dr. Mario Championship, September 2023 edition. My name is JonDatFlindo. We are going to be bringing you our next and final match of the day. Our number 2 seed, Floyd, versus our number 7 seed, Master Ibar. Joining me in the booth is none other than Savage Octagon. Savage, how you doing?
Well, I did what I came here to do. I tied up my rivalries. I'm super excited, and I really wish I'd put myself on the commentary schedule for some of those matches. Wow. But these two are outstanding players. This match should be quite good. So Floyd beat the Dave in the first round. He has made the semis in the last 3 months, so he's on a really good tear. And Ibar beat Sarah Sparkle despite of some top out strats in round 1. So he must be feeling pretty good too as they go through these levels 8 through 11.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, that Ibar Sarah match was a heck of a game. A lot of fun to watch. I know I had fun calling it with you, Savage. But we're going to get into this next game. We have readies and our 3, 2, 1 pills.
So let's see, a lot of blue on Ibar's top line, but already set up in some very good combos. Floyd's board a bit more diverse, but now as I say that, I don't think so. Lots of columns are red.
Yeah, there's a lot of red on that board, and it did start out really nice for him. Gosh, I gotta think if I'm Ibar here, seeing that board, I might have been tempted to top out earlier.
I might have been as well, honestly. I mean, I do not like the 7 and 8 structure. I've mentioned one when I saw it before, blue on blue. I'm just not a fan. So it's giving Floyd the opportunity to really carve out his board. You see that he's completely empty in column 1. That's going to force some drop time in column 2, but it has a 7 virus lead right now, so he has a little bit of time to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's done a really great job of getting through this board pretty quickly and pretty efficiently. Ibar, on the other hand, has just been hamstrung by all these blue viruses that he's been dealt, doing what he can. And you can tell he's not happy about the situation he's in. As Floyd is about to be out, he does go ahead and sacrifice the drop time to get the blue. Turns out he didn't need to. He had another blue on the way, but out at a 127.
Mm-hmm. And Ibar's board just has quite a bit of messy stuff going on. You see all that garbage in row 3 is going to be very tough to take care of. And he's shaking his head. Yeah, I would be shaking my head too. And as you said, I think I might have topped out a while ago. But now Floyd, 29 viruses left on his level 9. Wonder if he's going to be setting up for these horizontals. It's going to take a lot of red to do that. So I'm not sure how that's going to work, but one more red and he'll have it.
Yeah, he's definitely got the opportunity here, and that yellow-red perfect form, exactly what I was hoping to see. He does have still a ton of red on his top line. I don't know, I can't talk lately. But he's doing the best that he can with it. Meanwhile, Ibar really struggling. He wants to get those reds horizontally. 3 more yellows will open it up for him. Now he's just got to have the red. There it is, out at a 238. So very rough starting level for Ibar.
Yeah, and he is at about a 25 virus deficit, 22 to Floyd, who is really cruising through this. He's got a lot of shapes available to him, and now he's going to try to open up this yellow horizontal. Oh, he slowed down a little bit on his screen, but we hopefully will be able to get him secure on the stream.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Ibar having a little bit of a better board than I liked in his level 8. Still not great, though. Still not an ideal. Most of the reds are on his left side, and then he's now got a completely clear column 7, which does give him a place to put garbage and potentially open up some horizontals at the bottom of his board. But we'll just see how he's able to play through this, as Floyd out at a 329.
A very, very nice time for Floyd. A ton of red on this top line for him. Ibar working through a red situation of his own. You see he's got horizontal possibilities brewing in row 3 and row 2. That was a really nice cross that Ibar had. Wonder if how he's going to deal with this column 8, John.
Yeah, it's tough to say that this double yellow is going to be really nice. I wondered which way he was going to go with that. He elected to get the virus clear rather than the garbage. I might have gone for the garbage in that situation, honestly, because now he's going to have to go from underneath or possibly build up some towers to clear out that blue horizontally.
Yeah, and meanwhile, let's see. So Floyd's board is looking outstanding. I mean, there's a bunch of red, but he was just able to clear a bunch of it off very, very quickly in this double red. Very helpful for him. Meanwhile, Ibar out at a 441. And again, Floyd down to 15 viruses, just like in the last level. So slowing down a little bit is Ibar.
Yeah, and it's just been a story of a bad board with not great RNG so far for Ibar in both his level 9 and his level 10. I gotta say though, he's done a really good job with what he's been given. But yeah, this is not what you want to see if you're Ibar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Floyd working on these reds to clear out that yellow down in the corner. He's got it open, and now everything is free and clear. He takes a tiny bit of drop time, which is the right prioritization, especially if a double red comes along, but he gets 2 in short order. He's out at a 523. And meanwhile, Ibar working on this very, very clustered end game. Nice. I thought he was going to go for the lightning bolt. Doesn't go for it. He's going to clean out. I keep guessing what he's going to do, and then it's not the same thing. So there we go. He gets the clear.
Okay.
That was different than I thought he was going to go for, but very nicely done. Another nice combo from Ibar.
Yeah, that combo just I did not see that coming. It was really cool. But Floyd down to just 28 viruses now. As Ibar getting out of his level 10 at a 609.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and look at that top line for Ibar.
Yeah. But at least, he's opening things up. He does have space for a horizontal blue. And yeah, he's going to get a beautiful L into another
Do a sweet T. Wow.
Oh my gosh, everyone, you're going to have to watch that back. That was outstanding from Ibar. Wow.
That's what we came here to see. Those kinds of those high level plays that Ibar's really good at those. We've seen Ibar just tear it up in the versus tournaments as well in Columbus. I believe in 2021 he was the runner up behind Packy, and man, that was a heck of a thing to watch.
Yeah, that was outstanding. And he did very well last year as well. Now, Floyd just down to needing some blues. He's got plenty of space to do that. Nice horizontal, takes the 0 drop there. Now has to prioritize, does it correctly, and he is going to be out at a 7-15. Nicely done.
Yep. We'll see if Ibar goes ahead and finishes out this level. It looks like he probably is
Yeah,
going
he's a
to.
little. I'm surprised. He seems a little bit far back in virus count to spend the time doing that. But now his board is pretty clean.
Yeah. It's a nice double red to clear out this one, and then a nice double blue to follow up with. And still sub 8 for Ibar, even with all that mess that was that seed for him.
Yeah, when I first started, sub 8 times were not super common. And now we're really, really shooting for that sub 7 to make it, ironclad. So, wow.
All right, and we get reset, and we have our readies and our 3, 2, 1 pills in this game number 2 of a best of 3. Ibar looking to force Floyd into a decider. Floyd looking to put Ibar away and make punch his ticket into semifinal Sunday.
Yeah, but these opening pills are not the pills I want to see for Ibar to do that. But he does get a nice sideways sweet tea there. Floyd with a nice opening combo down the left-hand side of the board.
Ibar's got some really intricate things that he's doing over on his board. He's making setups upon setups to get these yellows, and he's going to get the cross clear into another clear and then drops down the garbage on top of the red in column 2. Great plays by Ibar here. He's down to 20 viruses. Floyd is down to 25, now 23, fixing to be 21 with those 2 double yellows in a row. Man, what a start to this game.
Yeah, it's looking outstanding, but Floyd does not need yellow anymore. And you see he's going to be thinking about how to use that yellow strategically. Looks like if he had some yellow blues on the right-hand side, he might have been able to get a low drop clear going, but has to abandon any hope of that. So, I don't think Floyd meant to do that there in column 6 and 7.
Yeah, pretty sure that was supposed to be a 5-6 drop. Fortunately for him, he did have a blue way down at the bottom of the board that he could have dropped that onto, but it would have been a heck of a lot of drop time for him to suffer through. As we're looking over at Ibar, speaking of blue, Ibar needs a ton of it, Savage.
Yeah, I hate to see that. And I was watching through some footage of last month, and I referred to getting a lot of blue as Ibar luck. So Ibar definitely needs that Ibar luck right now, as does Floyd. Check out all the blues on his board.
I think Ibar just went for a horizontal combo that was a little bit too high on the yellow. But he's still going to be able to get this pretty quickly, especially with that double yellow. He elects to clear it out vertically, gets out at a 214. He now, he's now ahead of Floyd.
And 215, a lot of the winning times that we've seen, or the lead times that we've seen, have been under 2 minutes. So these two going not as fast as they'd like, I think. Floyd out at a 226. But still doing okay. Wondering how Ibar feels about that piece of red garbage. He did drop the opportunity to get it horizontally just now, but I think, it looks like he's signaling blue-red might take it.
And Ibar had a chance. He had several chances to clear that out sooner. I'm not quite sure why he didn't. I think he just wanted to work on his right side of the board while he was still getting the pills. And you see now he's got so much red that he's having to work with. Nice horizontal play there to get some of that down. But yeah, it's kind of tough for him as we look over at Floyd. And it looks like he's going to be setting up for some sort of a cross clear to drop these blues down, Savage. And he's going to get it with that double red.
That looks really nice. And he's able to tuck that double blue in between there. gets a horizontal yellow, so he's going to be dropping some garbage down here, but a nice triple clear. And things are looking very nice for Floyd at the moment. He's just got to make sure to prioritize his reds correctly because he has 4 of them out of 7 viruses left. Ibar down to 6, and he is definitely going to need a blue-red. I'd love to see that for him.
Yeah, because that's the last thing he needs. He's not going to get the blue-red, but he is going to get that drop combo to be out at a 406. But Floyd now at a 403 has retaken the lead, just only slightly, though.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Outstanding. Ibar's opening board, a lot of red, yellow on the top, a lot of horizontal possibilities. 1 blue, yellow would really help him out there, but he doesn't have it now. He's trying to keep it alive, but he keeps sort of covering it up a little bit.
Oh, I like what Ibar's got set up
look
here.
at that. Timber!
Hey! Looking at Floyd's side, he's got a lot of red and a lot of yellow on this top line. And the thing is, once he gets below that, he has a lot of blue and then even more red and yellow. It's really interesting to see how he's taking this out, though. Would love to have seen him be able to take those blues and reds down into his columns 4 and 5. Unfortunately, he did have that blocked up by the yellows there in his column 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need a lot of red for Floyd. Very nice big horizontal for Ibar, but drops a bunch of red garbage down on top of it. And there's not really an obvious way to deal with it. He does start to work on the bottom row there. And I'm wondering when he's going to work on that column 3. There's a lot of stuff going on, and it's a little bit precarious. Yeah, he's shaking his head because I don't think he knows exactly what he wants this plan to be.
Yeah, I think ideally he'll probably want to clear out those reds in the middle as he does clear out the blue garbage, but Floyd was out at a 543. He's got a pretty commanding lead now on Ibar, who has been just trying to get through this mess. And I don't think he
Ooh.
wanted to do that.
No, I don't think he did either. But as soon as that red drops, he's going to have everything clear, but he would have had it a little bit ago. He's out at a 611, and you see he's leaning back in his chair. He is, looking a little bit defeated, and Floyd is going to work on this level 11. As a medium speed player, he can do these plays that make me extremely nervous, like columns 1 and 2 over there, which are now taken care of. But he does know that if you flip a pill and half of it goes to the outside of the bottle, it does not trigger drop time for that. So it'll be a ghost pill. It'll basically just disappear. So he doesn't have to worry about extra drops.
Yeah, and a fun fact about that, from our versus organizer Chris Bidwell, the earlier versions of the game did not include that, so that was a choice. As we see Ibar with a really nice blue horizontal. I don't know if I agree with this red horizontal he's setting up. He is going to get it, and it's going to drop really nicely. I just don't know if it was the ideal play for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. It was like a couple of levels down there, and you had to clear out some red on the way to getting more red, so that is pretty tough. Floyd, meanwhile, taking out the bottom, nice horizontal there, and yeah, just needs to get things going in the right order. And once he clears these blues, yeah, he is free and clear. He's going to be out at a 739, so he is going to move on to the next round.
Yes, congratulations to Floyd. Also, GG's to Ibar, who, I can sympathize with you, man. The pills just weren't there. And it's just one of those things. What do? You do with you play with the hand you're dealt, and that's what Ibar did today. Definitely has nothing to be embarrassed about.
And you see him with the GGs. Always a good sportsmanship in this community. So, yes, Floyd is going to be going on to face our number 3 seed, Atalito. So, we are going to have semifinal and final Sunday tomorrow at 2 Pacific, 5 Eastern. John, have anything good to say to the 92 viewers who are watching us right now?
92, that's awesome. Just on behalf of everybody on staff, all the commentators, thank you for joining us. For the players as well, be sure again to come back at 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific tomorrow for our finals. Until then, Savage, take us out.
Thank you so much, John. Again, thank you to the staff, the commentary, and of course our restreamer, the Dave. And of course to all of you, please join our Discord, check us out on YouTube, all that great stuff. And of course, Tour Gaming Expo. And until we see you again, take your vitamins.